Welcome to Builder Information Systems Video Learning Center. This tutorial is a supplemental to the time and materials billing process and will touch upon the job-specific classification exceptions for labor along with the expanded per diem functionalities with Billing Multiplier added to Builder Information System. Incorporated with the release of time and materials billing are labor rate classifications and the job-specific classification exceptions for labor classifications, which include a specific per diem rate associated to each classification. Also added is an optional job master record setting that allows for a single job-specific per diem rate. These expanded functionalities provide additional flexibility and convenience for applying job-related billing rates and per diem rates. Let's look at the various job-related per diem options available and how to use them. First, using my desktop, select the Labor Rates Classification link in the white area of the Payroll module or by going to List and Labor Rates Classification in the menu. The labor rates classifications allow you to create a library or collection of labor and billing rates to conveniently select from when processing payroll. Optionally, a default labor rates classification may be selected and set in an employee's master record, or selected and changed on the fly during the payroll process. Note that in addition to employee pay rates and billing rates, the labor rate classifications provide for a default per diem daily rate associated with the classification. Make note that for any of the daily per diem processes to apply, the use per diem must be checked and an additions code entered along with a job cost type other account in the GL account field on the payroll tab of the jobs master record. In the case of the labor rates classification per diem rate, in addition to the mentioned settings, no classifications exception for the labor rate classification can exist, and the per diem daily rate default for the job must be 0. Let's look at the jobs master record to illustrate. Using my desktop, select the jobs link in the white area of the job cost module or by going to Job and Jobs in the menu. At the Jobs screen, select the Payroll tab. First, note that there is a Use Per Diem checkbox option. Checking this option will activate the area immediately below, allowing you to select or enter a payroll addition and GL account, which are required to successfully include and complete a daily per diem during the payroll process. The lower section provides the option to have classification exceptions tailored individually to the job. This area allows you to select or enter one or more labor rate classifications and then modify their billing rates and per diem rate, or use the multiplier percent at the top to apply a percentage increase to the listed classifications billing rates across the board. To add classification exceptions to a job, select or enter a labor rate classification which loads the information from the labor rates classification library. Clicking the Edit button adjacent to the classification allows you to modify the billing rates and the per diem for that selected classification. Optionally, you may elect to use the multiplier function at the top, which will apply the entered percentage to the labor rate classification's default billing rates when completed. The multiplier does not apply to the per diem rate, and when used applies to all entered classification exceptions in the grid. To understand the hierarchy of the per diem functions, the classifications exceptions in the job supersede the job's per diem daily rate default. The per diem daily rate default in a job will supersede a selected labor rate classifications per diem unless the job's per diem daily rate default is 0. Keep in mind that you may have classification exceptions with 0 as the amount, which when selected or entered will supersede the job's default daily per diem and the employee's labor rate classifications per diem as well. When first using the per diem functionalities, you may wish to check the per diem results prior to posting until you're comfortable with understanding this hierarchy. Again, the jobs classifications exceptions supersede the jobs default daily per diem. And the jobs default daily per diem supersedes the employee's labor rate classifications per diem or a selected labor rates classifications per diem unless the job's default daily rate per diem is 0. The per diem processes will provide the total dollar amount based on the number of days worked calculated from the hours entered in the payroll process, whether in payroll hours and adjustments, cash disbursements payroll checks, or entering a job cost adjustment for labor, or a journal entry for labor using a job cost type labor account. Make note, when utilizing the time and materials invoice process, per diems will appear as a separate line item other cost invoice available to select for customer billing.